I'll be reviewing the Tarot Grand Luxe by Saturn Retrograde. It is one of my new favorite decks, like ever, and I've used it a few times. It has somewhat of a Rider Smith to it, to just some degree, but he also adds some of his own ways of depicting the cards, which is something I really enjoy. I like it when people break away to the idea of something that is standard, but they take the same concept, but they go about it in a different direction. It's like sticking to tradition, but then taking it into another light, and that's precisely why I love this deck so much. The guidebook is relatively thin, but it gets the job done very, very well. And this is only in English. The only downside that I have to it is that it doesn't provide spreads, but however, with the introduction and then how he explains on how he built each and every card, and if I'm correct, I believe the Five of Cups, he actually had his own daughter actually pose for that card, instead of like having the general well-known figure in black looking at the cups down below like, whoops, I spilt my milk. But in each card, and this is somewhat how it's laid out, in each card he actually goes into detail about, okay, why is, like for example, why did I make the fool look like that? Why did I make him look like a jester? Why do I make him look like if he's coming out of a circus show instead of a young lad with a stick looking up at the sun about to fall off a cliff and having a dog saying, careful, you're about to land on your face. No, I'm not. See, he actually explains why he has a jester walking on a sandy beach and a dog just happily bouncing behind him rather than kind of trying to block him off from falling off the edge. So, as a standard 78 card deck, 78 cards, and I've actually split it up between the cards that I really am hooch over in a good way. There's the ones I like, and the other ones are just, I mean, they don't hit me as hard, but I mean, I get the symbolism, or they just don't have the big wow factor like these ones do. But still, overall, the whole idea is that this is just like personal. It's not like ugh. It's like, yeah, it's beautiful, but it just doesn't hit me as hard as these ones. Because either way, the artwork is phenomenal, and I can't really say it isn't good because I can't even match the level to this. So I'm going to go by one each card, and you can see how the deck looks. And before that, the cardstock is very thick. Like, this deck can take a beating. Not literally. Don't really get like a belt or something and start whacking it, because that's not going to do any good. And it's very flowy, which I love. I love decks that just flow. They don't get like really too stuck together, because there are some decks I have that get too stuck together, and you actually see me flip out like, ugh. Might as well shuffle two bricks together. So going one by one, we're going to start with the ones that I like the most. There's the King of Swords. I like the White Owl just showing on a sword like, you better be using your noggin, kid, and better be wise about this. Six of Cups. The Empress, which is phenomenally done. The Knight of Wands. Two of Wands. Three of Cups. What takes the cake for me for this one is you actually have three women at the top, kind of like Gilmore Girls, and they're just having their, tea time or whatever lovely ladies like to do in their time together. I like the Sun because you have, well, for me, it has two things that I like. it, I'm trying to remember what word that's called, but it alludes to Egyptian and Mayan mythology, just because of like how two cultures are weaved together. I like it when there's more than just one culture. There's actually an interweb of it. Ace of Wands. Funny enough, I like the Fool, or as I like to call him, the Idiot. Here's the Five of Cups, and this is the one that I said I believe that's his daughter. Here's the Six of Swords. I like how the swords are on one side of the water and on the boat, because one side of the water is calm and the other one has, pointy, sharp things in there. You don't want to fall in there. Justice. I like the reference to somewhat referencing Egyptian mythology with a feather, but then it got changed to a sword on the other side. But nonetheless, I like the idea of how it's depicted, especially the blindfold over the eye, meaning that justice is blind, only knows yes or no, not maybe. It is what it is. Now the High Priestess, I cannot find the words to be like, oh my Lord Lanta, that is phenomenal. And if something I noticed too when I was looking at it, if you notice how her hands are in, like how they are, that's actually a reference to like how like in the Hindu, that's not how you actually say it, but in that practice for people in India, depending on like how you have your hands positioned and like how where they're touching, like the thumb, index finger, middle finger, and all that, each part of that and how you hold it is significant. And the way she's holding it, even though like in the general Rider-Waite-Smith, the way that she has her hands put together is significant. Our next one, save that one for last because that's my favorite. Next one we have the good old little devil. But what I like about this devil is that, funny enough, he is actually holding all four elements in his hand. This makes you think now, doesn't it? Is the magician the devil? Hey, I'm just thinking, I'm just saying. There's temperance. I love how temperance is more free-flowing spirited, and that's really what like the energy of Sagittarius, and that goes with temperance. I like how temperance is depicted as an energy that is really outgoing in that Sagittarius. Very Page of Wands, King of Cups, Ace of Swords, and Knight of Cups. I like this Knight of Cups. He has like piercing blue eyes and he just looks mesmerizing. Eight of Swords. What I like about this one is instead of it like being all around her, it's just in her eyes and her hands. So she's very ghostly. She doesn't have any legs. So that kind of can show that you're being restricted only in your mind and what you're seeing, and you're thinking you can't do anything. But in reality, you can still move around because you're not being bound by the physical. Three of Swords. What I like about this one is that the heart isn't pierced, but the individual is like, ugh, I quit. And when she's leaning over, the sword is kind of going where the heart is, but it's not piercing through it. As you can see that the heart around it is still completely full. It's not pierced through. It's like she's laying over the top of it. Kind of like she's exhausted protecting it. But she's still protecting it despite that. And in this in this deck, instead of it being pentacles, it's considered coins, but that's very minor. There's the ace. Has like a little deer in it. Ten of Cups. I love the cat because he's like, okay, human, I'm satisfied. I'm going to sleep. Go enjoy your woman, now leave me alone. 6 of Wands. 5 of Coins. And I like this one because this one actually has a hand coming towards you, like asking you for help or donating to help. 2 of Cups. This is probably one of my most favorite depictions because you have 2 hands holding one another and they're of different skin tone, meaning that love can be established and friendships can be established regardless of your whatever skin color and what you're dealt with. I love death. Instead of it being like a skeletal, like, oh, Snapple, it's actually a masked figure, and it's like in a masquerade. I also like how he also includes the 2 planetary stars. There's your get that perfectly. Come on, focus. There's Uranus, and then there's Pluto up there, right there. And then we have 3 of Coins, which is about working, investing, and doing an appraisaling. I also really like how there's also mathematical instruments like a protractor and a compass and the right angle measurement thing. I don't know exactly what it's called. You get the idea. Queen of Coins. Very gentle. 8 of Wands. I like how this one looks because it looks like it's coming right for your face. As 8 of Wands should be. It's like, okay, we're going 50,000 miles per hour. Judgment, which is my favorite major arcana. I just love how it's depicted. Hermit, even though it has a bit of a haggard feel to it, it's like, you're gonna have to self-reflect, Harry. I have to what? Self-reflect! 2 of Swords. I love it. Can't get enough of it. Just because, you know, there's a veil in front of you, you can see right through it. 10 of Wands. Kind of like an elder figure finally finishing his life and finally got to the ending point where he can rest. 6 of Coins. Phenomenally done. 4 of Cups. Uniquely depicted because usually the 4 of Cups is the individual is like, boring. Well, this one's like, oh, there's another cup over there. I'm going to look towards it. Rather than the everyday other, most commonly known as just like, I'm not looking up to this new cup, but it's right here. Take it, and I don't want it. I'm going to stick in the hissy fit mode. The Star, I love how it is. Especially even though she's not standing on Earth and standing in the water. She's actually standing, well, actually not standing, she's actually sitting on the water. Yeah, it's like she's not in the water, but she's sitting on solid ground, but on the water. So it's very nicely done. Ace of Cups. I love the Hangman because the way that it is like, well, even though I'm stuck here, I'm going to make the most of it and enjoy it, which is actually how you should enjoy every moment, even if you're stuck. Well, I'm going to look at a different perspective, just twist around, and yeah, make the most of it. 8 of Cups. I love how that is. His Holiness the Pope, or the Hierophant. Well, with this depiction, it makes me think, uh-oh, His Holiness is here, so, yep. Serious. I like this 10 of Swords. It's not overkill, but it's in a state of mind where it's like downing in a unique way of having it depicted. Page of Swords, which looks cutesy, and I like it. I love the tower, because what's getting blown off is just the very top. And it really helps bring in that idea of an oh snapple moment, but the foundation is still there. Strength. And the reason why I really love the Strength card is it's just how the look on the lion's face is like, fine, fine, woman. Where do you want me to go? Fine, I'm listening. But I'm not impressed. I just like how it's depicted. The moon is phenomenal. Four of Wands, phenomenal. Seven of Swords, very cleverly done. It's very cautious, but at the same time, it's not very sinister, too. It's cautious, but not like, I got this one from a sucker. It's not like that. It's like, secret thieving, man. Because as far as you know, that could be Robin Hood. Next we have Knight of Wands, Wounded Warrior, Seven of Cups, and no, it's not because of the rainbow. Not funny. Five of Wands, because it looks like a big thing of Mortal Kombat going on, but no actual, like there's no heads in this depiction, if that makes sense, so there's mindless combat and aggression, which makes perfect sense. King of Wands, the Wheel, phenomenally done. Five of Swords, this one isn't as like, you suck, I won. This one's more like, oh, okay, you think you're slick? Prove it. It's more of a prove it, like, come on then energy, rather than like, you lost. Four of Swords, I like how there's that the knight is asleep, but in the dream world he's going off to another battle or noble deed. The Magician, I like the Hooter, the Owl, and the Mercury symbol, and how like the symbols in between his hands. I just love how it was done. The World. And last but not least, my card takes the cake. Absolutely stunning, phenomenal. There's no word to describe it. It is just so flawlessly done. And then the other cards in the deck that weren't as, for me, we have Three of Wands, Two of Pentacles. I get the symbolism and I get the card. It's just masked clown guy. Page of Pentacles, or coins. Cute font though. Knight of Coins. Four of Coins. It just doesn't feel like a whole, this is my gold, you ain't taking it. No, I'm not letting go of this. The Queen of Wands, I don't know, it just, for me, it's just not as bang as I'm used to relating to her, because I see the Queen of Wands as a cheerleader. Nine of Cups, I get it, but it's just Nine of Cups to me. It's like more of a wish fulfilled and just being overly celebrative, and to me this one gives me a feeling of, alright, let's crack a cold one. I'm not much of a drinker, so that kind of makes sense. Now, don't get me wrong, I love how it's depicted. with the Peacock. I absolutely love the Queen of Swords. It's just that when I see the Queen of Swords, I want to go like, oh, okay, whoops. Looks like we got the Queen of Sass coming for me. But it's just the look on her face is, don't maybe stab you. It's just too, for me, it's just too gentle and not what I'm used to. Because I'm used to having the Queen of Swords being all, you want what? You want me to stab you? Yeah, kind of a vibe. But still, the Peacock, though, that was a really, really nice little add-in that I absolutely adore. King of Pentacles, or coins. Emperor, for me, the Emperor just doesn't look impressed. He's like, I decreed for you guys to do it now. Damn it. Page of Cups. 9 of coins. 7 of coins. The only thing that really made me go is, for the 9 of Swords, is that the person's face is kind of smiling at the devil. And is not in a state of like, oh, God, no. She's kind of like, I see you back there in the clouds, Mr. Devil. I know what you were trying to do. I knew you were trying to get in my dreams to do some nasty stuff. No. Yeah, because if you take a look, you see the devil in the card. And she's like, I see you, Cupcake. We're not doing that nasty stuff. Oh, man. Yeah. If you don't get that reference, then don't say anything. The 8 of coins, I get it. It's just that the 8 of coins in this depiction, he's really looks like he's mainly reading instead of like doing physical work, but that's just self, in my opinion. 7 of Wands, we have the figure kind of really, I don't know, it's just his face throws me off. 10 of coins, it's kind of like he's sneaking and hiding it away instead of kind of investing it all towards family and whatnot. Knight of Swords is like he's, it just doesn't fit well with me. The Lovers, I'm sorry, the birds are throwing me off. And last but not least, the Chariot. It's because the one horse's hoof looks like he's just himself in the head. So that's the whole deck. At the end of the day, I got it from Amazon for 18 or 20 US dollars, and phenomenally done. Perfectly done, and I highly recommend it. And again, it's so smooth and flows. It's beautiful.